Hey guys, it's Punchy, and today I've taken a requested build from the comments and tried it out. The build I've been struggling with for the last week revolves around a gunslinger build that makes use of the Lava Serpent Path. I underestimated the ungodly amount of nerfing the developers did to Lava Serpent, resulting in something that genuinely may do the least amount of damage in the game. I don't know if some of you guys were trolling with this, but I'll try out any build suggested, so keep commenting what you guys want to see. Before starting today, I'd like to thank you guys for the support on my video about Deepwoken's food and cooking. There's a lot more to the hunger system than I initially thought, and I'd recommend checking it out. Also, we're almost at 18,000 subscribers and approaching 20,000, which is wild to think about. Make sure to like and subscribe to see more guides and builds. Let's get right into the stats. This build was initially very solid, and understandably so, because guns are pretty silly, but as soon as I picked the Lava Serpent Path, it all started going downhill. As a level 53, I have 15 Fortitude, 25 Agility for the Great Dodge Balance, 40 Intelligence for True Ether Bullets, 40 Willpower for Azure Flames, 19 Charisma, 75 Flame, and 75 in Light Weapons. To be honest, my damage is so low, I don't think it matters where I put the rest of my points, but I don't plan on continuing this build. Of course, it's no use to put an enchanted weapon or bell in this build, but I think I might be close to getting a bell. The amount of times I've been sent to the depths and forced to fight the Enforcer is more than any account I've ever played on before. So, you may be asking, what makes this build situational and how did it get so bad quickly? The primary damage for this build comes from True Ether Bullets, a solid legendary that draws from both your light weapons and elemental stats. Basically, on every single M1 with your weapon, the elemental effect will trigger. Before I picked Lava Serpent Path, every single one of my M1s would apply Azure Flames, allowing my explosive finish and Emperor Flame stacks to build up very fast. That was good. Later on, with Serpent Path, I ended up doing the explosion on all of my M1s, resulting in the new damage stalling and the annoying knockback. The more times I consecutively hit the same target in a combo, it reduces your damage, so I'm effectively doing nothing with this build. Here's a clip of my damage. Yikes, it's so low, and I'm even using Dragoons. If you don't pick up Serpent Path, the talents Agitating Spark and Emperor Flame will help you out a lot. All of my M1s cause flames to occur, and as a result, the flames spread to myself. Whenever doing this 5 times, I get an explosive hit, and this is quite strong for guns. Due to the increased range of all of your attacks, it's very easy to draw in people with this explosion once fully charged up. Additionally, another strong talent for guns and Flame Charm is Explosive Finish. Very similar to Emperor Flame, whenever you flourish somebody, you can explode. Besides just your weapons, there are basic ways you can increase your versatility with Flame Charm mantras. The first mantra I'm using is Flame Eruption. It doesn't perform differently if you have Serpent Path, and it's very easy to pull off during combos. It does send people away after using, but it's nice as a final hit to your combos. Flame Palm is an ability I picked up just for the range, usually good for building up stacks on your Flame Cloak, but it does a sizable amount of posture damage. It's decent for spacing out your opponent. Fire Gun may be one of the better talents with Lava Serpent because it costs nothing and it's super spammy. If you slap a round spark on your Fire Gun, it causes it to shoot more bullets in a spread-like pattern, so I think it's decent. Surprisingly, I think it's a good mantra that I want to make more use of in the future. The next mantra is Flame Leap. If you decide to follow my build exactly, there are going to be many death escapes in your future, so it might be worth picking up. It's vertical movement that I use to scale the walls. Nothing else worth mentioning about that. One of the best mantras for this build is actually Fire Forge. On some of my other builds, I've never found use in this mantra, but it's actually quite good. I made a first attempt on this build, and I ended up getting that talent that builds flame stacks to make a halo, and hitting one Fire Forge gave me this buff instantly. Also, with Serpent Explosions, more things hitting is going to equal more damage happening. The last mantra I got in here is just Flame Wisp. Pop this guy whenever it's off cooldown for passive regeneration in combat. It's super good on any build, and it's very good if you want to space out with guns. And that's all the mantras I was using in my attempts for this build. There's a couple more talents I think that help this build out, but there's no saving this current disaster. Luckily, I have some nice dodge talents which come from Agility and my Flame Charm Path. Risky Moves, which gives you iframes when you dodge, and Mirage Clone complement any build that wants to be slippery. In my case, whenever I dodge, instead of lighting my opponent on fire, I'll cause an explosion that pushes them away. To increase the amount of times I can dodge, I always pick up Blade Dancer. This restores your dodge on a successful hit, allowing you to repeat the process and play slippery. A fun talent I think that works with any gun build is the Thinker. As it's acquired through the Intelligence Path, restore any missing ether and reservoir for standing still. It's Warrior's Respite for mantra spammers, so I think it's pretty good. Also, the pose reminds me of Aizen for some reason. Here's a full look at my talents. If you want to replicate this build, feel free to slow down the video now. Let's talk about my equipment. If you have ever heard the phrase "go down with style," it embodies this character fully. With Azure Flames, I'm very pleased on how this character looks. The guns I'm using are Dragoons because I can never flourish with Serpent's Path. All of my hits send them farther away, so it's no use. The armor I'm wearing is the Summer Uniform for increased penetration on my gun attacks. I should be wearing the Province Cloak for more damage from my mantras, but the materials aren't worth spending on something so garbage. The cloak I have equipped is the Azure First Ranger or something. I'm unsure of the name because I've renamed it, but it looks so damn nice on a drip. My character's drip is extremely solid for this build, and I think it complements with the race as well. Also, on my first attempt for this build, I had the Azure Flame Halo, which is another layer of blue. Anyway, that's all for this build, but I'll showcase some of the fights of my first attempt on this build where it worked and my failure with Serpent Path. Enjoy. Hopefully you guys heed my warning about Serpent Path, but there really is strength in guns. If I hadn't taken that silly talent, I'm sure I'd be sitting here with a solid gun build, but there's always time for that in the future. Thank you guys for watching, and consider subscribing if you're interested in my content. Have a good one.